My skin was once again getting pale. Wrinkles appeared on my skin, and my bones started hurting again. Once more, the moment had come. I searched all along the town. Nowadays, people don't even come near my lodging anymore. Rumors spread like wildfire. I needed to find someone who doesn't know nor heard about bed and breakfast. Someone just like him. He looked so young and so brilliant. With a suitcase in his hand, he traveled through streets, asked people for directions, and moved through allways. I was getting worried he wouldn't pass by my little place. However, he suddenly appeared on the side of the street. I knew this was my chance to lure him to me. Bed and breakfast, bed and breakfast, bed and breakfast. When he turned to the sign and I stared at his soul through his eyes, I knew I had to prepare for the show. I saw him peeking through the windows. I made sure to keep everything as tight as possible to draw his attention. When he approached the door, I made sure to give him the warmest welcome I could. Maybe I exceeded a little bit, because as soon as he laid a finger on the doorbell, I emerged from the doorway. As I started to notice his startled face, I knew I had to keep myself together and continue the act. When he entered and asked the price, I made sure to give him an offer he couldn't refuse. 5 and 6 pence a night, breakfast included, I said. He seemed eager to stay. That's when I knew I had him below my wing. Once he accepted the offer, I showed him his room on the 2nd floor and made sure to tell him to write his name on the 1st floor notebook. After all, it's the only way to make the process work. I went to the basement to make sure everything was ready. Candles all lighted, symbols traced, vessel prepared, conjure memorized. The only thing remaining was the sole name of my dear victim. It was time to take the final step. As I poured tea on the porcelain cups, I watched him from afar how he stared intensely at the notebook. As I heard muffled mumbles of him mentioning the names of my past masterpieces, for the first time, a feeling of dread flowed all over my spine. This may not work, I repeated to myself several times. However, the moment I saw him write his name on the book, I steadied my trembling hands and carried the tray. I prepared a beverage that Billy will never forget. I managed to cut him off each time he started to reflect about the other people who fell for my tricks. Even though he rejected it at the beginning, he ended up accepting a cup of my special tea I had prepared. Everything was done already. No, I only had to sit back, watch, and let the story unfold itself. As I watched his lips touch the cup, a smile formed in my face. The first contact is always the hardest for me to watch, but finally, after passing the first sip, his body relaxed, but you could hear his heart pounding. He wasn't sure about his actions. He opened his mouth, trying to ask me something about the guest book, about the names. Ah yes, the names. Poor boy, he had no idea he was reading the memories of those who came before him. So young, so full of life they all were, until their smiles faded and their energy became mine.